Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. I am feeling on top of the world today, and City are on top of the Premier League, a very, very familiar position to Manchester City fans and Manchester City Club, of course, but I do have a spring in my step, an extra spring in my step today, thanks to you guys passing me beyond 5,000 subscribers, which I'm over the moon with. Really happy. That's 4,000 subscribers joined Typical City since the start of this transfer window, which I'm really pleased with, and thanks to you guys, to all the nice comments that you're popping in the comment sections. Honestly, it means the world to me. It really does go a long way to helping the channel. You guys, can't thank you enough. Thanks again, really do appreciate it. But let's talk about yesterday's game, and in particular player ratings. This time, I'm going to start from the front and work my way back, because I do think that's more interesting area of the pitch considering how the game panned out yesterday. So I'm going to start with Erling Haaland. Got himself a goal, of course, that has to be factored in. But there you can see a 7 rating I've given for Erling Haaland because of the number of chances that were wasted. You can't be missing penalties and be getting high scores, unfortunately. That's not how the game works. He did get that penalty in the first half, and it wasn't a bad penalty, you know. As far as bad penalties go, that was a good-looking penalty in terms of a bad penalty. But, you know, you've got to be burying them. You've got to be burying them, and it is becoming a growing problem for City in terms of converting our penalties. Albeit we did win 5 out of 5 in the UEFA Super Cup and bagged ourselves another trophy thanks to a penalty shootout. So I thought we were over that. Clearly not. Clearly not. We've still got a little bit of a voodoo over us in terms of penalty taking. But next penalty, you're giving it Erling Haaland all day long. It doesn't matter that he missed that one. And the fact that he missed chances is another indication of the mentality this monster has. An incredible mentality to keep going. You saw his face after that penalty. He was just gutted. Pure deflation. You know, Rodri gave him a pat round the back of the head to say, come on, keep going. And he did. He did keep going. He had one more chance that he missed. He then followed it up with another good effort where he had a little dink, a nice Kovacic slided through ball into Haaland's path, who found himself in the channel. Tried a little dink. Fotheringham, that's just a good save. Sometimes they go in, sometimes the keeper pulls off a quality save like that. That's just the way of football, unfortunately, isn't it? But he kept going. Now, granted, the goal he did score, I think most people, I could have scored that, to be honest. It was, you know, it's simple, but he's in there. Right position, right timing. The run was quality. You know, Jack Grealish's delivery, put it on a plate for him, and you can't miss from there, but you've got to be in the position to score. He did bury it as well, so, you know, good play overall. He got 24 touches, but this passing accuracy needs to sort it out. He had the exact same figure against Newcastle, 54.6. For some reason, it's always 54.6 now for Erling Haaland. It was exactly the same figure against Newcastle, and something that bothers me about his game. He has 1 key pass, 3 aerial duels. I've thrown those in there because he did go up against a very large defence with John Egan and Jack Robinson and Ahmed Hodsvich all over the back of Erling Haaland throughout the game. He was getting pulled left, right and centre. There should have been another penalty on him, to be fair, because he got his collar pulled, elbow round the back of the head, and then all 3 of the Sheffield United centre-backs just jumped on top of him just to make sure he didn't get up again. But no penalty was given for that. But yeah, 3 aerial duels won, 8 shots, 3 on target. That's what you expect him to get more, 5 or 6 on target with Erling Haaland. So he's a bit wayward there with 1 dribble. So I've given him a 7. I think that's reasonable, considering the chances he missed, but he did score, so it was down to come back up again. So I'm pleased with that. Jack Grealish, he's an interesting topic for City fans at the minute. I do think he's pretty polarising when it comes to what City fans think of him. I feel torn. I see constantly, he tears me from opinion to opinion within the 90 minutes, and he did it yesterday, because up until his assist, I'm screaming at him to go on his left foot. Just try it. Just try it. Every now and again, just burst onto that left foot, and especially going up against Baldock, who was on a yellow card at the time when he got his assist. He was on a yellow card in the penalty area. He doesn't want to lunge in, and Jack Grealish goes onto his left foot, dinks it back post, and there you go. If he just did that a bit more often, who knows what Jack Grealish's numbers could start to look like. He's bagged himself an assist, fully deserved. But let's look at his numbers. 68 touches, 93.8%. He fell into the 70s, Jack did, against Newcastle. In terms of unsuccessful touches, He had 4 that I can't fit the stats in there because I don't want to be too damning on him. But he was our worst player yesterday for controlling the ball. In terms of miscontrolling the ball, 4 times Jack Grealish did that yesterday. But I've not stuck that in there. 6 key passes, that's really good. So he's creating opportunities and moments for City still, albeit too often I feel like he plays it back, goes for the easy option, simple, plays it back. But the fact that he's still getting 6 key passes in there, that's not bad. That's good. Tackles 1. That's another area of his game that is underappreciated a little bit. He works hard, gets back, and he can do some vital defending in vital moments of the game. And he got himself a tackle yesterday, which is decent. 2 shots, none on target, 1 dribble. We need to be up in that dribble. I want to see that 3 or 4 every week. Because you know he can do it. He glides across the pitch okay, and he does have an ability to lure players in, even if he's fouled. Okay, but he wasn't even winning that many fouls yesterday, just because he wasn't even attempting to beat his man. But yeah, 7.5 I think, because of the assist. You look at that passing accuracy, his overall contribution to the game was good. Good enough, I think. I always want a little bit more from Jack Grealish, but I've given him a 7.5. I think that's reasonable. Bernardo Silva, he couldn't really affect the game yesterday. I don't think he had a bad game, and maybe I'm being a touch harsh on him because how hard he works, his work ethic is never in question. He put himself about, but his end product was a little bit lacking. He's dropped into the 80s for passing accuracy, but I mean 87.8 is good with 66 touches, 4 key passes, 1 tackle, no shots, obviously none on target with 1 dribble. I just didn't feel like he could affect the game, and numerous times I saw him doing that yesterday, apologising to his teammates for misplaced positioning of himself or misplaced pass, moments that weren't quite going his way. He got caught on the ball on the edge of the area in the first half, just like dribbling across really complacently, dribbling across the edge of his own area with all the space in the world. He gets tackled, and luckily that tackle just ricochets straight through to Ederson, who can gobble it up, no problem. But, careful. You nearly got caught there. So I don't think he had his greatest game, but he wasn't bad. He certainly wasn't bad. So I've given him a 6.5. Let's look at Julian Alvarez. I feel like the same can be said for Julian Alvarez. Work ethic, never in question. Always a 10 out of 10 for work ethic. Actual contribution to the game. He could have had a different game. That first half could have been very different for Julian Alvarez in terms of the numbers. He got that chance from an Erling Haaland sort of looping cross where Haaland manages to bring the ball down in the first half inside the penalty area, and he scoops like a volleyed cross, a very delicate volleyed cross that goes into the path of Julian Alvarez, who with a left foot, you're thinking it's going to be bulging the back of the net any minute. All of a sudden his left foot, and Foddering comes out and puts a good save. It was a good save rather than a Julian Alvarez miss. So that could have been a goal for Alvarez. He won the penalty. Don't forget, great run. He was slid through into the channel, gets to the byline, crosses it, cuts it back. I can't remember who it was who actually committed the, I think it might have been John Egan, who lifted his arm, clear penalty all day long, but that would have been an assist. So he could have had a goal and an assist yesterday in the first half, but he didn't. So that's just unfortunate. Second half, he just went a bit anonymous. He was drifting in and out of the game a little bit, Julian Alvarez, trying to do the odd thing, but couldn't really link up play that well. As much as I wanted him to see. But what surprises me is those shots. I don't remember him getting that many shots. The one shot I do remember that was devastating at the time was after they equalised. Kyle Walker's run down the right wing with his step over, cuts inside to Foden. Foden just lays it on a plate for Alvarez, you've got to hit the target at that moment. It was about the 87th minute or something, and Julian Alvarez balloons it over the bar, which was a major moment in the game, a real drop for Alvarez's score, I think, because if that's got to hit the target at least. To balloon it over the bar like that was real rash strike, and that's not what you don't normally associate that with Alvarez. He's normally quite cool and composed, and he at least hits the target more often than not. So a little bit of a drop there, but 82.1%. Yeah, not okay. That's okay. 4 key passes, 1 interception, 8 shots, 3 on target, 0 dribbles. So I've given him a 6.5. Foden's an interesting one. Look at that, 5 minutes. Look at those numbers, 5 minutes. How much has he impacted the play? I can only give him a 7 because he's only got 5 minutes. But in terms of actually impacting the game, you've only got 5 minutes to do it, and look at that, 14 touches, 100% passing accuracy, 2 key passes, he tackled someone, he got a shot away, and he beat someone in 5 minutes of the game. I only include 90 minutes, I'm not including stoppage time for that, so it was actually more like 12 in truth, but still, come on, talk about an impact substitution. He technically gets the assist for Rodri's goal, but it was more of a miscontrol. I would like to know whether that's gone down as a Kyle Walker assist, actually, or a Phil Foden, because it was Kyle Walker's cross that Foden miscontrolled, hit the studs of his boot and ricochets back up and lands beautifully for Rodri to smash it in. But limited time, very impactful from Phil Foden. So I think he was brought on as a response to their equaliser, and he did his job. He came on. So I can't give him more than a 7 because of the limited time he had. But in terms of impact, that's what you want, you know. So for me, I don't know why he wasn't starting. I was surprised he didn't start the game. It would have been instead of Alvarez for me yesterday. I think Foden should be playing ahead of Alvarez now, particularly in the next game against Fulham. I will be surprised to see if Alvarez... It depends on the formation, of course, but in terms of if we went for that same formation as yesterday, I would just swap Alvarez for Foden. But yeah, let's move on. Kovacic, another fucking brilliant performance from him. Just Mr. Steady Eddie. Everything's just going through him at the minute. Everything looks great. He could have bagged himself a couple of assists yesterday had Haaland been more clinical. One good save, and he set up Alvarez, of course, for the penalty that was given away as well. But 85 minutes played. He was the one who came off for Foden, which was a surprise to me. But turned out to be the right shout. Just bringing Foden on was the right shout. Instead of Kovacic, hard to suggest whether it was right or wrong to bring him off. But anyway, 86 touches, 89.3% passing accuracy in his position of the pitch. That's brilliant. Really good. 2 key passes, 1 tackle, 2 shots, 1 on target. There's nothing empty. There's no zeros in there. He's just busy. You know, he's just solid. Just everything was good. There was a dribble in the first 10 minutes that won as a free kick. The amount of times he's just able to slow the game down, like Jack Grealish does, but he bursts again. That Jack Grealish doesn't do that. He's got to burst out of those positions, Jack, like Kovacic does. He's got this ability, Kovacic, to just glide past players like they're not even there. Brilliant from Kovacic yesterday. I thought he was... had Rodri not bagged that goal at the end, I'd have probably given Kovacic the man of the match. And I would have said the same last week as well for Kovacic. He's just proven to be a very shrewd bit of business from City. Hopefully we can keep him fit. Injuries are the problem because he has picked up quite a few during his time at Chelsea. You're hoping he can just stay fit throughout the season because we've got one hell of a midfielder on our hands, which is a perfect replacement for Gundogan, really. I'm wondering if he's going to start adding goals and assists to his game, but I think they will. They'll come in time. I really do think that. Rodri, man of the match performance for him. 8.5 I've given him. I mean, let's talk about, can we talk about Rodri? Can we talk about Rodri? Of course we can. We're going to do it right now. 90 minutes played, 136 touches, 98.3% passing accuracy. What is that? Are you taking the piss from midfield? You know, and he very rarely is it basic sideways passes. He was breaking the lines yesterday, Rodri. He was finding himself so far up the pitch that normally you expect to be in the final third because there's normally 10 Sheffield United players or whoever were playing players in the way. You know, so your passing accuracy drops, but 98.3%. That's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic from Rodri. 1 key pass, 3 tackles, 1 interception, 1 clearance, 3 dribbles, and a match-winning goal. Man of the match performance from Rodri. It really is that simple. It was bordering on a perfect midfield performance. You know, in terms of perfection, I couldn't think of any mistakes that he made. I do tend to focus on mistakes a lot. I like to think we are that level of club now that I know there's no such thing as an outright perfect performance because you can just overhit the ball once in a while. You don't always get a perfect performance, but it was close as far as the midfield goes. But yeah, I've given him 8.5. I just think it's unbelievable what this guy's doing. I really do. I think he's gone to adding goals to his game now that was already such a good midfielder that's now scoring for us as well. So yeah, 8.5. Easy man of the match. Ruben Diaz. Brilliant. Solid. I was a little bit harsh against him for Newcastle. Didn't have that much to do yesterday, same as Newcastle. There was one moment that stands out like a sore thumb, which was the long throw-in from Jack Robinson. I think it was Rodri who got the header clear, but it wasn't completely cleared to the edge of the area. Lands to Hamer, who's getting his shot away. That's their one shot on target that wasn't a goal. They had 7 shots. I think they had 8 shots on target, and only 2. Sorry, 8 in total, although 2 were on target. 1 was a goal, and the other one was blocked by Ruben Diaz as Hamer drills it, and Ruben Diaz with the old arms behind his back just throws his body at it, blocks it. Impeccable. Really good defending from Ruben Diaz. And those touches as well. There's not many players that have got that number of touches to his game. Everything from out playing from the back, in terms of creative play from the back, was all coming through Ruben Dias. 124 touches. Again, look at that passing accuracy. 97.3%. Brilliant. No key passes, 2 tackles, 0 interceptions, 0 clearances and 0 block shots. There was very little defending for him to actually do, but when he was called upon, he answered. He opened that door and he batted anything that came near him away. So that's all you want from him. You know, you can't be getting high scores if you're not actually impacting the game. But you're gonna get a 7.5 off of me just for, you know, for the contribution that he did do was minimal, but it was of the highest quality. So I think Ruben Dias deserves a 7.5 for yesterday's performance. Gvardiol struggled to impact the game. Similar, you want a little bit more from him because he was marauding down that left side a little bit more, linking up with Jack Grealish once in a while, was getting the odd cross in. Little glimpses of Gvardiol's quality we're seeing, and he's slowly finding his feet, and we have to allow him to find his feet. You know, he is being bedded into this City team slowly. Is he happy? I mean, I'm sure he is happy just to be at Manchester City, but in terms of like what's his preferred position, I wonder if it's centre back or left back. He fits like a glove at left back so far. Defensively solid, nothing got past him. He didn't look out of his depth. Going forward, he kept it simple. It was just all the basic stuff done well, you know. So I've given him a 7. I don't think he could be quite as high as 7.5 like Ruben Dias, but again, very little chance to actually impact the game. 110 touches, 91.8% passing accuracy, which is decent. 2 key passes, a tackle, and 0s in the rest of the columns. But yeah, really good from Gvardiol. Nice and simple. 7 for him. Kyle Walker. This is an interesting one. He was on his way to like 5, and then he just redeemed himself in the last 5 minutes of the game. Prior to his mistake, though, he was brilliant. Prior to that mistake, but mistakes are going to harm your score, unfortunately. They are going to harm your score. And but then retrieving the situation and redeeming yourself to the standards that he did, he nearly redeemed himself even quicker than he actually did. With the, it was almost instantaneous redemption from Kyle Walker, where he'd given that mistake away. I'm not sure what he's thinking in that particular situation. You do just play it simple. You play it simple in that situation. That was, and the fact that he lay down, he knew. If you go and watch the goal again, I've watched the whole game back to provide you these scores, by the way. But to watch that goal back, he knew that it was such a damning mistake that he's done, that it's going to cost him. And he lay on his chest, off the pitch, right next to the advertising boardings, just deflated. He knew, and he watched all the play take place, and he was just lying down behind the touchline, like watching it, and then it broke, and then they buried it. Jayden Bogle puts it into the bottom corner, and Kyle Walker's just like deflated. He knew what mistake he'd made. I don't think we need to highlight it beyond what it's already been highlighted. I think he's well aware of the mistake he made, and I doubt he'll be doing that sort of thing again. Not in the recent future, near future anyway. But 96 touches, 90.7% passing accuracy, 3 key passes, 1 tackle, 0 interceptions, a clearance, and 0 block shots. But the one bit I want to talk about is how he bombed forward straight from kickoff, almost instantaneously, going down that right wing with speed. I think it was a little 1-2 with Foden, who just entered the pitch. He goes down the touchline facing up against Larouci, step over, cuts inside, beats Larouci, sends it to Foden. Foden then tucks it inside to Alvarez, and that was the chance for Alvarez that I was talking about, all from Kyle Walker's run. And it's Alvarez's balloon shot over the bar is why Kyle Walker wasn't instantaneously redeemed for that mistake. But he made no mistakes of chasing that ball. It was Larouci who he chased over into the corner flag to win the ball back after a cross had come in from Erling Haaland, who just glanced off Haaland's head. Sheffield United fans go, hey, thinking that's it, point in the bag. No, not when Kyle Walker's on that pitch, because he chased him all that cross all the way to the corner flag, wins the ball back in similar fashion to how Traore won the ball back off him, gets the ball back, gets his cross away. A lucky miscontrol from Foden lands to perfectly for Rodri, who drills it in. And it was all from Kyle Walker's hard work to win the ball back. So I think with him going down to like a 5.5 to a 6 at best, he's gone back up to a 7 because of how he redeemed himself. And his overall performance prior to his mistake was more than good enough. So I've given him a 7. Nathan Ake, again, similar to Ruben Dias, 90 minutes played, 91 touches, 97.5% passing accuracy, no key passes, a tackle, 2 interceptions, 3 clearances, so a lot more defending from Nathan Ake, and that's his bread and butter. He loves it. He absolutely loves it, doesn't he? He goes above and beyond when it comes to defending. Again, I've given him the same as Ruben Diaz, 7.5. He's just Mr. Reliable, isn't he? Mr. Reliable. Everything's solid. Nothing really goes wrong when Nathan Ake is near the ball. I just feel in safe hands if we've got a bit of defending to do and I see Nathan Ake's our front line in that particular moment, I feel quite confident that the ball's going to be retrieved and City will have possession of that ball within seconds. And Nathan Ake is that player now, Mr. Reliable. So I've given him a 7.5. Nice solid performance from him. Ederson, he had nothing to do. He had nothing to do. You can't give scores to people who do nothing. You know, he's in net against Sheffield United, who had absolutely nothing to do. The only thing he did have to do was try and save that one shot. That clearance you can see there's from a punch from the Jack Robinson, one of Jack Robinson's throw-ins that he punched away. Other than that, he had nothing to do. You know, there was 2 shots on target. One was blocked by Ruben Diaz. The other one went in the back of the net. Not much Ederson could have done about that because it went through a cluster of players and found its way into the bottom corner. You're not expecting him to save that. But passing accuracy could bump that up a little bit maybe because a little bit of distribution has gone wayward there, clearly with it being 80%. 34 touches. I can only give him a 6 because he had nothing to do, so I have to emphasise that. The thing is with these scores is, like, imagine when a player gets a hat-trick. I know some of you all, a lot of City fans, I saw some of your ratings in my last one, were talking about, oh, this should be 9, this should be 9, this should be 9. What happens when they score a hat-trick? We have to go from somewhere. You know, you can't be giving out 9s to every player, you know, so I have to start from how much they impacted the game. Mistakes are going to knock your score down. Doing nothing keeps you in the middle, and impacting the game with goals and assists and decent overall contribution is going to bump your score up. You know, if you get a hat-trick, you're looking at 9.5, 10 out of 10 potentially, depending on your overall performance. But I think they're reasonable. Blues, get yours in below. I want to hear them. I'm curious to see what the average would be from you guys. Give your ratings in the comments for each player. And I just want to thank again everybody who's subscribed to the channel and who is a lot of you watching me regularly now. I'm seeing so many familiar names and I really, really do appreciate it, guys. Honestly, it's so good to have grown so much in so little time. I'm hoping it can continue. Keep moving forward with this channel. If you can, drop it a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. You're only continuing the cause that I'm trying to create a nice, decent City community for level-headed City fans to get involved and talk about the team that we love, the club that we love, Manchester City Football Club. So get in the comments. I want to hear your player ratings. Like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is typical City now, holding up silver.